What's up, everybody? It's me, Yemmy the Ferret here, with another episode of YemmyCast, a video game podcast on Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. That is correct, and YouTube. How y'all doing today on this fine Sunday morning? Whew, it's still a bit heated here today, and not in the sexual way, but it's still pretty hot here, so I'm going to keep this as short as I possibly can because we're going to get into the talk that I had with Kylex Plays and also the game that we played, FMK, or Marry Kill. You can't swear within the first 10 minutes of a YouTube video. So I gotta go, Marry Kill. But before we get into that, I just have a few things to go over first because there's some cool things that I got at the comic book shop recently. The first thing being the Red Reaper variant of Batman, which was a PX exclusive. The box itself is worth the price. It was only $12, so it's not like it was crazy, but this is an exclusive for the Batman 80 years celebration. So the story behind this Batman came in during the Metal run in the comic books, which was by Scott Snyder. Now, you know, the run was cooler in concept than anything else. But this character had a pretty interesting backstory because this multiverse version of Batman actually strapped the Flash to the hood of his car and drove at such a high speed with the Flash attached to the hood that their bodies and minds fused. So Batman is still in control, but the Flash is inside his mind, trying to get him to come back to the good side. So yeah, the box is like black and gold. It's a Funko Pop, of course. So it's a black and gold Funko Pop. It's number 283. It's Batman the Red Death. So it's pretty much the Flash's suit, except demonized. And it's also a little bit Batmanized too. So yeah, if you haven't checked out the Metal run, the collection is out now. It's not the best thing that Scott Snyder has ever done. It's very wishy-washy every which way. It's not as good as his New 52 run, let me be honest with you guys. But this figure, still pretty cool, so I'm going to keep that with me as well. Also, Godzilla King of Monsters action figure. Not action figure, display figure. The box itself, once again, sells it for me. This is an awesome pickup that I got. It was only $30, which is absolutely ridiculous. So that's what he looks like. He's kind of like that greenish paint that you would see in the old style movies. He has fire-breathing action. And it actually comes with a diorama that you can actually take out of the box and put him into the city setting. So the box art looks like an old movie cover, and it has things like awesome and King of Monsters and raging through the open world on a rampage of destruction. Awesome, and then some. And if we look inside, what's in the box? There he is, the devilish fiend himself. And the inside here is it just looks exactly like the outside. So, but yeah, I thought it was a great figure, great looking figure, and I said, why not? I might as well put myself into the depths of even more debt. Okay, so those are the two things I want to show you. Let's do a Yu-Gi-Oh pack opening since I haven't done one of these. Actually, that's not true. I just did one last episode, but that's okay. Yu-Gi-Oh! Arena of Lost Souls pack opening. We haven't had good luck, but I'm always optimistic that we're going to get these. I'm preparing for the new cards to come out. The Scars of Battle box has been released, it has been released, so it's coming in the mail. So I'm going to be opening up that soon, and then also the new Speed Duel decks for Weevil and Rex are also out now, and it's actually heading my way from Amazon. So we'll see that hopefully very soon. So these cards actually in this new pack, I don't want to reveal the cards to myself. They smell brand new, unlike the other ones, and they have a nicer shine on them, I think. They feel a little bit better, so I think they updated the quality in the cards because the Speed Duel cards are really speaking to me. So we got a Wasteland, a Skull Servant, a Decayed Commander, and a Half Shut. Nothing too exciting there, but, you know, always good to try and keep finding that Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. That's what I say. All right. I'm going to shrink down in size on the video end of things, and I'm going to become one with the interview, with the second part of the podcast, which is me talking to Kylex Plays. You can check him out on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube. So you can check him out on those locations. He has multiple different things that he does, like live streaming, Let's Plays, and also his Just Talking 2 series, if you want to check those out. Update for myself, I'm streaming now on Twitch, Mixer, and YouTube combined all at the same time. So if you don't want to watch me on YouTube, you can watch me on Twitch or Mixer. I just have those as options if you want to watch me on those things instead of just YouTube. You don't get as many perks like the biscuits and stuff like that, but it's still cool and fun, and it's a way for me to kind of extend my reach a little bit. Just a smidge. All right, on with the show, whichever way it's going to become. Alright, now joining the channel for the first time ever is Kylex Plays, who is a Let's Player. He has a new show called Just Talking 2 as well, and he's partnered with Red Event Games. If you know him, Red, aka Leon, has been on the Fair Business podcast, but of course that's defunct now. So we have Kylex on the YemmyCast, a video game podcast. Welcome, sir.
Well, thank you for having me on. Thank you very much for inviting me.
So, are you feeling the heat wave, or is that just a certain part of the UK?
No, to be fair, it's been the weather itself has been terrible today. It's still very, very warm and humid. But the last 2 days have been a nightmare. Like, you'd think you was in Spain, which isn't a bad thing normally, but
right. Yeah, well, I live in Ohio, so it's been like the past 3 weeks has pretty much just been hot as hell. You can literally like see Satan in the distance sometimes when you're squinting. And it finally cooled down, and then like as soon as I went to go record a few videos the last week, it like went back up into the 90s. So it was like, thanks, dude. Now I'm gonna be sweaty in my videos once again. But today's not too bad. Today's not bad at all.
Yeah, I listened to. I think you had. Was it yesterday's one where you were saying that you cooled down, you're not sweating as much?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's always good. That's always good. I don't really mind the heat. I don't really mind the cold either. I'm just happy as long as I'm not sticky and clammy really. So I'll have like fans on and everything, but you know it's easy really.
Yeah, I live in a condo, so it gets really hot and sticky up here, and so I have portable air conditioners in both my bedroom and in my office here, and it keeps it cool, but sometimes it's like just not enough. I need that central air. I need it.
Yeah. So I don't know what people are like over there, but in England we're renowned for moaning about the weather. So if it's hot, people moan that it's hot. If it's cold, people moan that it's cold, and they're the same people. Like, generally, they're just, all we want is a bit of sun. And then they have a bit of sun, they moan that it's too hot. So I don't mind it. I quite like it. But to be fair, this is probably them last 2 days where we've had really, really high temperatures. I think it's nearly record temperatures, actually. I don't think we actually broke it, but it was nearly record temperatures. That's pretty much going to be our summer. Summer shouldn't have started yet, really, but that'll probably be it now, and it'll just rain all through summer. We only have about a week of summer every year, and people can't even stand that. And then they moan and they go abroad because they want the sun when it's raining.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same here. The people complain about the heat, and then it gets cold, and people complain about the cold. The only difference is people don't know how to drive in the winter, so there's like 17 accidents on the way to work, and you're just praying that the person behind you knows how to stop in time.
yeah, I get that. Yeah, I mean, I live in the north of England now, but I'm from down the south, and they say up here like London, the city. Obviously, you know London. That's literally, they say it comes to a standstill when it snows. It doesn't snow very often in the UK, and even when it does, it doesn't really lay or anything. So, but they say like London literally can't handle the snow at all. It's like as soon as it snows, businesses close up for the day and so on and so forth. Up north, they just kind of get on with it, and just crack on. Yeah, you see buses sliding down like with their brakes on full, just sliding down hills and stuff. They just try and carry on with their days.
So let's talk about where Kylex Plays started. Obviously, you are Kylex, and that's not obviously not your real name. But where did the Kylex name come from? And also, how did you get into YouTube? Because your channel's been around for about a year now. Would you say?
Probably about a year and a half. I started January 2018. So yeah, about a year and a half. But I started primarily as a Football Manager YouTuber. I don't know if, with you being American, if you'll know what that is even. But it's
I know the Football Manager. Yeah, it's we call it soccer, but it's football.
Well, yeah, you're wrong, but
well, I try. I like me personally. I always try to say football when I'm talking to a person from Europe. I always go football and I'll say American football if I'm talking about the real football.
No, but how can it be real football? Right, football is kicking the ball with your feet. American football, 90% of the time, they're handling the ball, which is a foul in football.
Right.
So how can you call that football?
I don't know. I still prefer the term gridiron from back in the 40s. I feel like that was a much better name for American football.
That works for me. Just don't call it football. No, I'm not really one of them. I'm not really that bothered. But yeah, so I started off as a Football Manager YouTuber, and mainly because I've always been into my computers and stuff, but I'd never really had the gear, and I'd been watching a lot of YouTube videos, a few years before then, and a lot of them were Football Manager videos, and I was just like, I could do that. By the way, it is harder than it looks. So I've veered away from that. You need to be very inventive and all that for them to be popular, because it's such a small niche. That's why I've sort of spread out a little bit and opened my wings a bit. But originally it was Kylex Kylex FM for Kylex Football Manager, and I did that for about a year, and then I just felt like I was holding myself back by only doing that, because I do enjoy other stuff. Like, I enjoy doing this. I enjoy talking to new people. I enjoy, so I do enjoy actually doing other stuff other than playing Football Manager and not playing other games, obviously. Right. So after about a year, I decided that I've had my time Football Manager. At the minute, I'm really not wanting to play Football Manager. I think I burnt myself out with it a little bit. So that's not good. So then I spread out. Yeah, I started getting into like the indie gaming sort of areas, and I'm just sort of going where it takes me at the minute, and I'm enjoying the ride. The name came from a lot of thinking. I get called Kyle all the time, which is quite awkward because Kyle is my son. So that's why, I'm a bit like, I don't know how to take it. I'm like, I'm Kyle. I'm not, when you name a little human being Kyle, and then your mate, like everyone online starts calling you Kyle. Huh. It's hard to take it. You don't really know what. But then obviously, in 2015, I had another little girl who was born, and her name was Alexis, so Lexi or Lex. Mm-hmm. So it's basically just Kyle and Lexi put together. So it's quite bland when you explain it like that.
Well, it has a nice meaning behind it. Kind of like, I don't know if you know who Tom DeLonge is, but he named his second band after Ava, his daughter's name. So that's actually a really nice sentiment for it.
I mean, it's good, but the problem is last year we had another little girl, and that's the last one. And we called her Olivia, so I don't know how that's going to filter in, and I don't know if in the future she's going to go, well, why, I might just never tell her why it's Kylex and just say, no, it's just a name I thought up. It's got nothing to do with your sister and brother,
Well, hey, congratulations on the new-ish child.
Thanks.
Now you have 3 kids, right? Do you think that the challenge is going to triple, or is it going to get easier as because you've already been through it 2 times already?
Well, my oldest Kyle, he's just left school and he doesn't live with me. Okay. He lives down south, where I'm originally from, with his mum. Obviously, I still talk to him and I still see him all the time as much as I can. But yeah, he's sort of like pretty much grown. I mean, I've not really had him for. I just sort of have him for a week here and there, and we talk on the phone and that a lot. But apart from that, it's he's not really been anything. But like that sounds horrible. But I mean, he's not been here with me. So right. to add any stress or strain. Whereas the two young ones now, two girls, obviously living with my wife as well. That's 3 girls. So that's another reason why I got into doing this. It's sort of like my sanctuary, keeps me a little bit sane. But to be fair, the kids are pretty good, and they're very regimented. They go to bed at a certain time. I mean, the younger one, obviously, she's just turned 1 last month. This month, sorry, 11th of July, she turned 1. So she's sort of settling down now into routines. Whereas before it was like waking up late at night and stuff like that. But we've started putting her to bed at the same time as the other one, and it seems to work at the minute. So fingers crossed that'll keep going. It's the wife that's the hardest one to keep her happy. She's not really a big fan of my streaming and making videos, but she deals with it all right.
So, when you changed over from Football Manager to more indie games, and of course your Just Talking series, was it more of a natural progression just because you've already been playing indie games and stuff like that, or was it more of a conscious decision to start playing indie games?
I don't think I played that many indie games until it kind of all happened at once, and I mean, again, Red Event is another. Leon is another one who. This is another thing that he did the same thing. He was a Football Manager, primarily streamer as well, or YouTuber as well. And
was that how you guys sort of connected? Was with the Football Manager then?
Yeah. That's how me and Leon got originally talking, and then we did a lot of talking about stuff as well. But like plans, rather than just Football Manager, we talked about doing a number of things, and he said to me, he's got this new Red Event Studios YouTube as well now, because he's trying to make it into a bigger thing than just his channel. Mm-hmm. And he does, so he's trying to get other people into, and he wants to make it more like a sort of a TV channel, so not just always videos of him, having other people do things on the channel as well, not only for the sake of the channel, but obviously it gets their name out there as well to the people who are watching. And we've got another project coming up that I can't talk about just yet because it's not fully down, but it's it's one that's it's one that I'm very interested in, and he's very interested in, and it'll be starting very soon if it goes to plan. So we have branched out. The indie games was sort of a way out of, because we were doing Let's Plays on Football Manager, so it was a natural progression to sort of move out and do Let's Plays on indie games. And we started getting involved with a number of indie developers who were like, asking us to play their games and give feedback and reviews and all that sort of stuff. So that's kind of how we went into the indie thing. And I find that it's a lot easier to play that to play that sort of game because it's not as time consuming. Do you know what I mean? The last 3 series I've put out, I think I did on my channel. I think I did Old Man's Journey. I'm currently doing Dark Side Detective, and I can't remember the other one I did. But
Little Nightmares?
Little Nightmares, that was the one. Which was an indie game to start with, wasn't it? And it sort of...
Yeah, it's kind of blown up in the past few months. Yeah, it blew up.
Yeah. So, yeah, Little Nightmares was the other one. And they're games that you can complete in a day. Do you know what I mean? And I like the idea of... Because when I first started playing these indie games from the indie developers, it was... I had this idea of indie games being, low maintenance, low budget, not very good games, and it was a really big learning curve for me because some indie games are absolutely incredible for the outlay they actually have. with these Kickstarter campaigns and stuff.
Right.
They're ridiculously good, and just because they're shorter, it doesn't make them any lesser of a game. And I enjoy shorter games with a decent story because, like I said, you're not stopping and starting it. You're just playing straight through. I mean, I did. I'm doing a series, or I've done a series for Leon's channel at the minute called Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, which was another indie game. But that's one of the best games I've ever played. Like, I really enjoyed it. I don't know if you've heard of that game.
Yeah, I've talked about it on the podcast before, but I've never actually played it myself. Like, there's a new version on the Switch now that it allows co-op, so that's kind of interesting. So I might pick it up on the Switch eventually, but I don't know if I'd pick it up like on Steam or something like that.
Yeah, well, it's honestly like I like the idea of it being a short game to start with, and as I played it, the mechanics, because you've got to use both controls to control both the brothers at the same time. Mm-hmm. So you got two analog sticks on a controller, so you're using both of them. So it's like one side of the controller. So it's perfect for the Switch, really, because you've got two side controllers, haven't you? But yeah, it was a really, really, really good game, and for such a short game, I just weren't expecting much of it, and it's honestly one of the best games I've played. It's brilliant, and that was an indie game as well. So that transition into indie gaming has also opened my eyes and given me a lesson in that as well.
Yeah.
Sorry,
a lot of these AAA games, they boast like over 1,000 hours of gameplay, and you open up like one of the more recent games I started up and then stopped playing was Red Dead 2, and I started it and I was like, it's fine. It's just the world is too big for me. Like I can handle like Assassin's Creed Odyssey right now is like just big enough that it's almost threatening me.
I think I get what you mean. Like you can have too much, can't you? Like,
even though the game might be the best game ever, I just like, even with like The Witcher 3, I start the game and I look at the map and I go, yeah, this is something that I might not be able to invest all this time into, explore this whole map and do everything. And that's why indie games are so nice, because even for like YouTube stuff, like it's just a few, maybe 10 episodes or 10 live streams or whatever, and you're done with the game and you've had a good experience, and maybe you've had a better experience than what you did with Red Dead 2 or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I love The Witcher. I've only ever played the first one. I've got all three of them in my Steam collection, and the idea, well, I started playing The Witcher 1 and I loved it. It was brilliant. It is a brilliant game. But I streamed it. I think I did about 4 or 5 streams, like 2-hour streams at a time, and I was only halfway through the game, and it was like, it's just having to put it down and pick it back up. It's like when you're watching a film, and you go off and do something, and then you come back and you're like, do I really want to carry on watching it? Because you've had that break. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it's a bad game, because it really isn't, and I love the game The Witcher, and I do intend on playing it. But obviously, I work full time. I've got 2 kids who live with me. I've got a wife who's demanding time. Do you know what I mean? I'm doing this show as well, so I don't really have the time to invest, like you said, 1,000 hours into a game as much as I'd love to.
Right.
If I had the time, maybe it'd be different, but. I literally, I'm not allowed to turn the computer on throughout the week. Weekends are the only time I'm allowed to turn the computer on, and then I spend literally all day recording and editing, and then I stream for 2 hours in the evening, and that's pretty much all I get time to do. So, as much as I'd love to just sit there and do all that, I can't justify it. Do you know what I mean?
I get you.
And it might be the best game in the world. I mean, I've heard massive things about Red Dead Redemption 2, but I've never played it.
Mm-hmm. Last thing I want to mention here, you've been playing through The Dark Side Detective, which is, from what I've seen from your videos, fantastic game, lots of comedy. How many episodes are in this? And then also, are you enjoying the game? How is it going for you personally?
Yeah, well, basically, because I have such little time, I complete the game, I whack it all out, and then that didn't sound right, did it? All in one, and then and then I just edit it and upload them as I go. I think there's 17 episodes to it. There's the first 6 cases, and then I was like, oh yeah, cool, 6 cases, and then you unlock another 3 bonus cases after.
Oh, yeah, nice.
And there is a second one in the making, which I can't wait for. And did I enjoy it? The game it's a breath of fresh air again. That's exactly what I expected. Sort of indie games to be, very boxy. Is it 16-bit or 8-bit or whatever?
Yeah, I think they call this one 8-bit.
Is it 8-bit? Yeah. So that's exactly what I pictured before I moved over to indie games. What all indie games were like, like proper basic and all that. But Dark Side Detective, the good thing about that is that even if you're a bit of a graphics snob, it's got so much more to it than the graphics. They're not the game focus isn't on the graphics. It's on the humour. It's on the little puzzles, and it's just a really, really easygoing game. And you could play it on your phone if it, obviously it's not out on the phone, but it's basically a phone game. Where you can sit there and pass time. It's such an easy game to play, and there's so many funny parts in it. The what is it? Detective, I can't even remember his name, Muck something or another, and Officer Dooley. They're just so funny together. I want to say McLean, but it's not McLean. It's Muck something. But yeah, it is a really, really good game, and them two just bring so much comedy to it. And it's like things happen, and you're like, oh, I didn't even see that coming, which is not something you'd expect from a game as sort of budgeted as that. But yeah, the second one's out soon. I think it's definitely being made now, and I'm looking forward to getting on that one as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Can't wait. I definitely want to pick the game up on Steam or something like that just to play through it myself. But sometimes watching you play is a little bit easier and than spending the money.
Yeah, I mean, I think I got it when it was on a sale. I think I only paid about maybe £8 for it or something like that. Yeah, and that was a while ago. So
you can't beat the Steam sales. They're too good sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I went on a binge and I bought like 3 games worth $1 each. Like they're not worth it, but it's like Garfield Kart. Like when am I ever gonna play this? Well, actually, I played it today, but
well, it's like they are dangerous because I do it and I look at games and I'm like, oh, that's only $3.49. Or
that's do that.
Yeah, it's under a $5. Do you know what I mean? You're going to get a few hours of entertainment at least for under a $5. You can't, and then you, before you know it, you spent £50, and you like start spending your shopping money and stuff like that. It's like, oh no. But yeah, you got to be dead careful on the Steam sales because they are quite they're very attractive. Like there's a lot
dangerous.
Yeah, it's very good value.
All right. Well, what you usually like to do on your Just Talking 2 series is do a game of Kiss, Marry, Kill. In America, we say fuck, marry, kill, but you can still use kiss if you would like. But we're going to do the video game edition of this that I put together. By the way, guys, if you want to, you can check out Kylex on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch as well. It's all just Kylex Plays, one word. Very simple, very nice. You can get the same. You can pretty much find him on any platform just by looking at one of his ats. So that is very nice. We always appreciate that here on the channel. So
that's
what I have
another
for
thing
you,
I couldn't do when I was Kylex FM. I was basically Kylex FM across everything except Twitter because someone else already had that. So I'm glad that's another reason why now it's Kylex Plays. I can just have it across all the board, which is really helpful.
So what I have for you is I have 4 video game series for you to do the fuck, marry, kill. And then I also have a set of 3 characters for that as well. But for the video game ones, fuck and or kiss, depending on what you would be a game that you play once and then you can never play again. Marry would be a game you can play for as long as you want, forever, it doesn't matter, it's the only game you can play. And then kill would be, of course, eliminating that game from the world. No one ever actually heard of it in the end. Are you game?
I am. Let's do it.
All right. So I don't know. I kind of had to pull some of these around and just hope that you've played them. But we'll start with some that you've played on the channel. So we have Darkside Detective, Brothers, and Little Nightmares for the first trio here.
Oh, that's not good. They're all really good games. I think I would have to kill Little Nightmares, which is quite bad because that's obviously the bigger game out of all three of them. The other two's dead hard. Maybe Brothers. I would marry. I would marry Brothers. Darkside Detective. I would kiss.
Yeah, because I think you could play Darkside Detective in one sitting, right? So I think that's that's probably the perfect combination of those three games.
Yeah, that was a hard one because I mean they're all good games, but the Brothers and Darkside Detective are very sort of close. But it was easy to get rid of Little Nightmares when in the comparison with all three of them.
Right. All right. So the next trio we have are 3 football games. We have Football Manager, FIFA, and PES Pro Evolution Soccer.
This is easy. This is an easy one. Actually, it's not that easy. Well, Football Manager is the marry straight away because I hate football games. The thing with Pro Evo and FIFA is they kind of up and down with each other. So one year FIFA will be like the better one, and the next year PES will be the better one. Mm-hmm. But I hate with a passion FIFA Ultimate Team, so I'm gonna kill FIFA.
All right.
Just on that, and Pro Evo I'll kiss.
You've saved a lot of people's wallets today because FIFA is stricken with those microtransactions.
Yeah, that for that reason is one of the main reasons I hate FIFA. I mean, I like the story mode on FIFA, but I think I hate FIFA Ultimate Team. I think it is ridiculous. There's no need for it. So, on that basis, that's definitely the one that's going in the bin.
All right. I'm moving on to another one. This is a more zombie-oriented one. We have Resident Evil, Left 4 Dead, and Devil May Cry.
Okay, so marry Resident Evil. That's one of my favourite series of all time.
All right, yeah.
And I actually do have all of them on my Steam library. I'm just waiting for the remake of Nemesis to come out, and then I'm hopefully going to play all the way through them.
Yeah, the remaster of 2 is like one of my favorite games this year. Right? Like, it's just been so much fun to play through it in the new style.
Yeah. I love that. That was the main game that got me into gaming. Resident Evil, the original. My dad had it on the PlayStation 1 when I was at school still, and I just fell in love with it. So that's definitely the marry. Devil May Cry I haven't played that much of, but there was something that said that was made from Resident Evil 4, wasn't there?
Yes.
So I'm gonna say I'll marry that. I'll kiss that.
Okay.
And I have played Left 4 Dead and I didn't really like it, so that's gonna have to be the one that gets binned.
Ooh, yeah, giving Left 4 Dead the noose. My fiance would probably start yelling at you right now because she has over 700 hours on that game, just by playing multiplayer and stuff like that. I will say, Left 4 Dead, even though it's a basic arcade game, the modding is so much fun on it. And unfortunately, they took out the mods from multiplayer mode, so effing shit.
Yeah, see, I don't really mod games, and I prefer games with a story. So that's where the Left 4 Dead one lost out, because it is very sort of just go out and kill as many zombies as you can, isn't it? Rather than rather than having a story. So yeah, that's my theory behind that.
Well, hey, speaking of games that have a story, the last 3 for the video game, just overall collections, we have Tomb Raider, and you can do the old Tomb Raider and the new Tomb Raider combined, whatever have you. Also, we have Uncharted and the Witcher series.
Right, so marry The Witcher, and I can't wait for the Netflix series. Uncharted would have to be binned. That's gonna cause uproar because I know it's a massive game. I've just never played it. I don't have a PlayStation 3 or 4. I've been Xbox since PlayStation 2, so I'd have to kiss Tomb Raider, which I would do in real life as well. So
the Tomb Raider games and the Uncharted games they're very similar in ways, but they're also drastically different in ways. But I've always gravitated more towards Uncharted just because it's more of a linear story in the newer games, whereas Tomb Raider is a little bit more open world. And even though it works, and I loved Rise of the Tomb Raider, like I thought that was actually my favorite game. I think the year that it came out for PlayStation, and it was just like such a great adventure. And I haven't gotten around to playing Shadow yet. I have it on my shelf, like it's there, it's waiting to be played, but I've been a little busy with other games that I want to get done first.
Yeah, I mean, I've got 3 games that I would buy a PlayStation 4 for. Not that I'm actually going to, but if I had to buy a PlayStation 4, it'd be for these 3 games. So it'd be Last of Us, God of War, and I think it was Detroit Become Human. Yeah,
and actually Detroit's becoming multi-platform now since the studio was bought out. So you'll be able to buy that, I think, on Steam eventually, and I think it will be on Xbox eventually too.
Yeah, so that's good. And one more is the one that's meant to be coming out soon. And you mentioned it actually about the advert using the part of the video, Death Stranding.
Oh,
that looks good as well. But generally, like, it's not worth me getting a PlayStation because they're the only games I'd play.
Mm-hmm. Well, hey, once PS5 comes out, you might be changing your tune there.
Maybe.
We'll see, though.
Yeah, I'm not. I like the fact that the Xbox is now quite one-on-one with the PC as well. So that kind of wins it for me at the minute. But you never know. I'll never say never. I went from PlayStation to Xbox, so I'm not saying I'd never go back. But right now, it's all about the Xbox and the PC.
Okay, so let's move on to the real questions here. All right, so this is actually Kiss, Marry, Kill, Fuck, Marry, Kill, whatever you want to call it. So we have Lara Croft from Tomb Raider, of course. We've already gone over that. Princess Peach from the Mario series, and we also have Cortana from Halo.
Are we talking about the video game, not the actors?
We're talking about the video game characters.
Yeah. Okay. So Cortana is pretty hot for a hologram. And as Halo's one of my favourite games, I'm going to have to marry her. Lara Croft, I'd kiss. Again, she's getting kisses from me left, right and centre, isn't she, today? Yeah. And Princess Peach is going to have to be binned off. And do you know what? This is the perfect... I'm glad you asked this because this is... for the last week or so, all I've been talking about is how I don't understand why I don't get the Nintendo feeling that everyone else gets. I just don't. I don't want to play a Nintendo. I never have done, and everyone's like goes mad over it. Like Nintendo this, Nintendo that, and I've just literally finished a recording for the latest Just Talking episode, and it was the same on that, and then the week before it was the same on that, and I have to explain myself every time. So this actually makes it quite easy because if you look at the fact that you've got Cortana and Lara Croft and then Princess Peach, that kind of makes it easy to understand. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, I get you.
Princess Peach is a cartoon character. And the other two are actually, even though they're animated, they're very, real. And I think that's what it comes down to. I think I don't get the whole child aspect about Nintendo. It's like, it seems like it's very aimed at kids.
Yeah, it is more geared towards the kids, especially with the new Switch Mini coming out. Even though the commercial showed tons of adults playing it, it's more for like kids who have smaller hands to play this different version of the Switch console, which is also probably why the 3DS XL was not as good selling as the original 3DS because it's a bit bigger.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next one we have here, which is Sonya Blade from Mortal Kombat, Jill Valentine from the Resident Evil series, and then I didn't know you didn't like Nintendo, so I have Samus Aran here, but I can always swap it out for a character if you want me to.
I don't. Who is it? Sorry.
Samus Aran, which is from the Metroid series.
Yeah,
she has like a blonde hair, bodysuit, kicks ass, takes names.
I don't know who that is, so you can change it if you want, because she's definitely going to go in the bin.
Yeah, let's quickly look up another character. Have you played the Mass Effect series? I should ask you that.
I've not played it, but I've seen it played.
What about Portal? Portal?
Never played it. That's another indie game, isn't it? It's on my list. I think I've got it on my.
Well, let's go ahead and go with who was I just on the top of my tongue? Oh, Liara T'Soni from Mass Effect.
Okay. So, well, Jill Valentine would probably be my first crush, video game crush. Obviously, being in the Resident Evil series, and she wore the shit out of that police outfit, even though she was very blocky.
Right.
But back in the day, she didn't seem as blocky as she actually was. Who else was it? The
Sonya Blade.
Sonya Blade.
Yeah.
When I think Sonya Blade, see, this is the thing, right? Because in the new games, she's basically based on Ronda Rousey, isn't she?
Yeah.
And I hate Ronda
She
Rousey.
has a voiced by her in the newest one, which was not a good choice, Kylex. I'll tell you that.
No, yeah. In the movies, the original movies, she was I don't know who played her, but she's in a lot of things. She's in Billy Madison and with Adam Sandler, and she was stunning. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna go with kiss her, marry Jill, and drop the other one.
Yeah, either way, it was a drop for the third choice.
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Sonya, like Mortal Kombat 11, like they should not have chosen the that WWF star for Sonya Blade's voice actor, because it was just like it's it's like someone reading a script. There's not much to it, and it just doesn't. Yeah, well, I don't mind her, but she just can't voice act.
She's not a WWF star or WWE star either. She came from. Do you know what UFC is over there?
Oh, I'm sorry. I had in the picture in my mind what it was, and I said the wrong.
No, because she had moved over to WWE.
Oh, did she? Okay.
Yeah. So, that's where she originally came from, UFC, and then she moved into acting as well. She was in one of the Fast and Furious films. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was the last one that Paul Walker was in, the one that he died in.
Oh, I think that was like 7 or something.
Yeah. She was in that as the bad girl who ends up having a big fight with Michelle Rodriguez. So I didn't really like her in that either, but she always comes across as basically more manly than me. So she just loses straight away. Like I don't like that in a woman. I like my women to be quite dainty and girly, ladylike.
Yeah. Well, I think the next 3 here are gonna test you here, because we have 3 gentlemen here. But the new name of the game is Get Punched by, Punch, and Kill. So you can either get punched, or you can punch, or you can kill Kratos from God of War, Nathan Drake from Uncharted, or John Marston from Red Dead.
Okay. I'll kill Uncharted guy.
All right. His hairdo just fuck him.
Yeah. I'll punch Kratos.
Ooh, okay.
Because let's face it, I'm not going to be able to kill him.
Yeah.
God of War, the clue's in his name, and I guess I'll kill the other guy, from Red Dead 2.
Yeah. Oh, he's gonna punch you then.
Yeah. I'll get punched. I wouldn't want to get punched by Kratos. So
Yeah. I wouldn't either. Trust me.
No.
I've played through the newest God of War game, and he just oblitterates about 4 people with his fists only. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if it'd be worth getting punched by his kid instead. Like, 'cause
yeah,
even he's probably gonna do some damage.
Right. All right. Well, hey, that's it for this episode of YemmyCast, a video game podcast. I just want to thank Kylex for coming on to the channel one more time and talking with me, playing our game. Remember, you can find him anywhere: Twitter, YouTube, Twitch,
Anywhere.
at Kylex Plays. Make sure you follow him on Twitter, and if you want to check out his channel, he does Let's Plays, and he has his Just Talking 2 series as well, which has been going really well for him, so make sure you check that out. Or if you want to see him live, go over to his Twitch. Kylex, is there anything else you want to say before we skedaddle?
No, I think that's about it. Thank you very much for having me on.
Well, it's that time, Kylex. It's a running gag on the podcast for the person who's being interviewed to ask Mr. Predicto a yes or no question. Do you have something you're burning to know the answer to?
Oh, yeah. Mr. Predicto, I'm honoured. Yeah. Will Newcastle United get relegated this season?
All right, Mr. Predicto, you heard him. Give him your best answer.
Yes, I am sure.
Ooh, is that what you wanted?
It's what I expected. It's not what I wanted. Okay.
All right. Well, hey, thanks once again, Kylex, and you have a great rest of your day.
And you, man.